everybody, it is Kathy, and I love to be selling. Come on in, sellers. What a treat I have for everybody today. Liz O'Kane is joining me, and I got Liz. I pinged her the other day, and I'm like, Liz, you must come and join me. We are going to talk eBay selling, and I'm going to tell you all about Liz, but she's got some super tips for us. And while you're settling in, let me know that you can hear me. Let me know how you are. Here in the city, it's overcast, a little rainy today. Happy spring, everybody. In the midst of all this corona virus pandemic, just to wish everybody happy spring. Another good reason to have Liz in. We'll have some spring cleaning eBay selling tips. This is going to be fun, 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 fun. But if you don't know who I am, I'm Kathy Terrell, and I am a top-rated seller on eBay. I'm selling on eBay for over 12 years. I am a trained eBay education specialist. I've got over 25 years of brick and mortar experience from retail stores here in New York City. And I was on QVC for over 6 years as a product presenter. So what I do is I take all my retail experience and I take my experience from QVC. And QVC is actually ideal background. Sometimes I'll do a broadcast just on QVC because what we had to do was sell things that the audience couldn't pick up, see, taste, and touch the way you can in a regular store. And if you think about it, selling on eBay, selling online, that is what we're doing. So I take that experience. I love really focusing on eBay search. It's great to source great things, and there's some wonderful, wonderful, wonderful sellers with great tips about what to source. But my specialty is what is going to help your listing stand out? And Liz has some great tips on that too, which is why I'm bringing her in, because you can have the best inventory in the world, but if you don't write a listing that stands out in eBay search and stands out on social media, you're going to lose sales. You'll also lose money because the item won't sell for what it could potentially sell for. So I brought Liz in. I'm going to introduce her because with the corona pandemic going on, there's a lot of really bad information, boo to bad information out there. Sadly, there are some sellers that are scaring people, and I don't want to do that. I want to talk truth. I want to talk facts, and Liz is on board with that.
Absolutely.
But we want to talk what you can do. We're both very proactive. And if you don't know, Liz O'Kane is a wonderful seller. She started selling part-time on eBay, and I'm going to let her introduce herself too, in 2002. She active military, retired from the Air Force, is now full tilt eBay and has been for a while. She has a great skill set, practicality, organization, thinking clearly and concisely. You can see with her organization behind her of what works. And what I love with Liz is she's very proactive, but she's also very practical, very down to earth. She's not what I call people that sort of blow smoke. You know, they say things, it sounds great, but it's like nobody but that person could possibly do it. So I'm going to let Liz introduce herself. We're going to kick it off. And what we're going to start with is with the pressure that everybody is under, and certainly we all are, and different parts of the nation and the world are more under lockdown than other parts are. And I thought Liz, with her military background, is mentally, what do we do when we're under pressure? I thought military, this would be fabulous. So Liz is going to introduce herself. So Liz, feel free to say anything about your eBay background, and then help us with how can we have a winning mindset right now with dealing with corona pandemic. What suggestions do you have for sellers?
Absolutely. First, thanks, Kathy. When you reached out, I was like, of course, Kathy, I'd love to talk to you and your sellers. I'm Liz. As you said, I've been selling on eBay since 2002. I was active duty. I just did it kind of as a little part-time thing when I was on maternity leave when I had my youngest son, and I figured I could sell some things. And I kind of continued doing that part-time up until I retired a little over 3 years ago. A year before I retired, I'm like, you know what? As I was filling out applications and resumes and doing my CV, I figured I think I can make this work full time. So I went ahead. I hit eBay hard my last year of active duty while I was working. I saw that I could make a full-time living off of it and that I could stay home and be the mom to my one son that was still home. And just kind of make it work. And it's been great so far. When I came on board a couple years ago, I found, the eBay community, which has been great. I've been following you since, and quite a few other groups that I've kind of, like you said, the positivity, which really helped me, I think, be what I feel is successful is, following the positive people, following the positive groups, whether it be on Facebook or YouTube. I thrive on that, and that is probably my key number 1 in surviving this is finding the people that find the positive things in whatever you're doing. Help lift each other up. That would be my first tip.
I think that's great, Liz. And one thing I wanted to, I don't want to get too far off
Yeah,
track.
yeah.
One thing, listening to your story, and I did the same thing, and I want to bring it up for people that are listening to us that might be selling part time. That even with the corona pandemic are thinking of scaling or want to scale their selling to full time, is if you listen to Liz, and I had a very different life circumstance. I was home caring for my mom, which is why I left presenting at QVC, is that Liz didn't give up, my background's theater, didn't give up her day job. She hadn't completely retired when she started scaling her eBay business. And I really encourage you on that, is if you're looking to hit a certain dollar threshold or you want to go full-time eBay, is to really push yourself hard. And it is challenging when your hours are limited. You're doing a full-time job. You might have elder care. You might, you've got kids at home, but don't quit your day job until your eBay business is consistently, and whatever that is. And Liz, you can tell us how many months you hit your dollar mark before you quit the regular job, because I will see sellers and it really grieves my heart. And sometimes people will encourage people, oh, quit that job. You don't need that job. Just list. And you can, and literally they have 50 listings up and they're encouraging. It's different if you've lost your job, but somebody who has a job, particularly if it has benefits, they have a job, it has benefits, they only have like 50 listings up, and somebody's yelling at them, telling them they need to trust and jump out there and quit their job. And sometimes this is single moms, single dads. And I cringe when I see stuff like that, because you want to, absolutely, you want to like go for it and you want to go for your dream, but you want to be practical about it too and hit certain dollar marks before you walk away from steady money. How many months was it? 3 months, 2 months? How many months did you hit your dollar mark before you said, okay, I'm ready. It's time. I can do this eBay thing full time.
To tell you the honest truth, Kathy, I slowly ramped it up.
Did you slowly?
I really did. The military has a program called Transition Assistance, and I went through that a year before I retired, and that's when I was kind of in the depths of, getting on LinkedIn and sending
Good.
everything out. I did not stop doing that. I
Okay.
continued to do potential job searches. A year out's really far, but it was just kind of getting my feet wet, seeing what was out there with my skill set while also ramping up eBay. I was everybody in my life, everybody around me knew exactly what my plan was, and 100% support from everybody around me. That was key for me.
See, I think that's great. You had your support. You knew where your year out. You were looking at regular jobs at the same time you were ramping eBay. You didn't put yourself under the gun. You really planned it out. So that I like. So back to coronavirus pandemic. So for you, since it's for instance, here in New York City, it's really gotten bad, like in the past 5 or 6 days, as far as real severe restrictions on people going out. Basically, every store in New York City is closed right now. The restaurants are just for takeout, and even some regular restaurants are closed completely. It's pretty much just supermarkets are open, drugstores are open, all the theaters are closed. No groups over 10. The subways are running. Mass transit is running in New York, and we have a good mass transit system, but pretty much everything else is shut down. So I know what I've been doing with my time. What has changed in your schedule or your work schedule? Because I know you're working from home too, like in the past week. What's different, or is it the same?
So I want to say it's the same, with very little changes. My son is a senior in high school this year, so we've been dealing with the staying at home, which he has been homeschooled in the past. So it's kind of a little bit of a shift, but it's the unknown of him being a senior in high school. So
Okay.
we've been dealing with that. The major change that I've made is today, actually, and I am so happy. About an hour ago, I did my very first porch pickup of
Okay,
my
so
postal stuff.
USPS came to pick up from you rather than in the past, have you gone to the post
I
office?
drive to the post office every day. It's 3
Okay,
miles from my house. In the past, I have always been afraid, well, in the past, I've done it, and they've either been scanned as delivered or they weren't scanned for 3 days. Um, this time I prepared myself. A couple days ago when I went to the post office, I told them, "Hey, it's not, let's follow these orders. I don't You have to be here. The less exposure you have, I want to do my part. How can I be successful in me dropping my packages off at my house and having them pick up?" She's like, "I'm going to leave a note for your postal carrier to let
great.
them know." I was able to I'm there every day. They know me by name, as most sellers that go to the post office as much as we
Yeah,
do. They gave me the very large 70-pound, or the bags that hold 70 pounds. She
okay,
gave me 8 of those.
nice.
So I just told her, that way my carrier isn't having to take a bin, go to their truck, come
Yeah,
back. So they gave me a handful of those. And the last time I was at the grocery store, I was able to just get some of the cheapest little plastic bags so I can tape my scan sheet onto the front of the bag.
that's great tips, Liz, good for you. Now you
So,
tell me, are your
yeah,
sales, are they about the same as they've been in the past? A little lower, a little higher? What's been your sales like for the past week?
for the past week, uh, really, for the past couple months, they've been up and down, and I haven't noticed a
Okay,
difference in the up and down this week. It's
okay,
still up and down, but I've still had sales every day.
good.
Things that are selling, normal things. I've sold swimming trunks, purses,
Great.
pajamas, shoes,
Yep.
my normal stuff. Um, So I did, I went to the post office yesterday. I dropped off
Mhm.
my final shipment of about 8 items. Today, I think I shipped out 9 items.
Good.
So it's fairly consistent.
I think that's a good point, like with swim trunks and shoes and variety is, for instance, like here in New York, because people are pretty much on lockdown. I mean, there are no department stores open. There is no regular clothing store open, no shoe store open. Is if you want something, if you're in a situation where your hours haven't been cut, your finances haven't been cut, and Liz and I were talking about that. Yes, there are a lot of industries that are suffering right now and people with cut hours, cut income, but there are a lot of people that don't have cut hours and cut income, and they want a new pair of shoes. They want a shirt. Or perhaps they're fine about buying used. And like today's the first day of spring. It was funny. I just sold some leggings and I sold leggings with little roses all over them. And I went, somebody's obviously feeling spring. And guess what? Macy's and Nordstrom's isn't open. Kathy's eBay store is open, and they went shopping today. I was like,
Yes.
yay!
And Kathy, on the opposite end, I'm in Colorado, and we were supposed to get 1 to 4 inches of snow, and it is now a little afternoon, and I think we're sitting at about 6 inches right now.
Are you
We
really?
are, yeah. So this would have been a typical snow day for me, except for
Exactly,
I would have left the house at 3 o'clock to go drop off packages.
because you're used to the snow, good for you.
Yeah, we're used to it.
One thing I did wanna say, Liz, and I know you're good on this, which is why I have you in today. So, let's say it's a seller that is having a hard time right now, where typically, let's say they do 8 to 10 packages, and right now they've only been doing 2 or maybe 1. And I'm gonna make it serious too. This is somebody where they really depend on the income. It's not side income. This is not a hobby. This is something they do because they need the money, their family needs the money, and they're having a rough time right now. What can you say? What can you do that would encourage them? What perhaps could they be doing with their listings or anything that might help them to get some more sales? What would be your top 2 tips and your thoughts for that person?
Well, my top 2, actually, Kathy, I know people. I have friends that are in that same boat. And I feel for you. My 2 tips, there's gonna be one of 2 sellers out there that I've noticed that I'm friends with in my meetup group, is you're gonna have the sellers that shop on a weekly basis, or
Yeah.
that don't have death or profit piles, your choice.
And
That
hang on
they
just
normally,
a second
yeah,
because we
yes.
do have some new sellers. So death or profit pile.
Yes, thank
You
you.
know, I always want to define terms because we're used to using, which is you have a lot of unlisted inventory. And people call their unlisted inventory either a death pile because it's just sort of piling up, or it's a profit pile because it's lots of potential profits that haven't been listed yet. So go ahead. So your typical seller that is used to doing a lot of shopping and they're not able to get out and shop right now.
Right. So there's going to be those sellers, and to those sellers, I would definitely recommend you only have what you have. If
Yeah.
you can't go out and get more, you kind of have to rework what's not selling. I know even me, I have items that I haven't sold in a year, 6 months that have
Yep.
sitting there. I have more stuff to list, but if I didn't, I would actually go through those listings, take the time and end them because right now we have time, right? We're stuck at home, we have time. End those listings, start from scratch like you've never listed it before. Take brand new pictures, go through all of the SEO tips that you provide. You have a lot of that resources. Go through, make sure that your SEO is good, your titles are good. Item
So hang on
specifics,
just a second.
yes,
SEO is search engine optimization. And what that means is that you're using really good keywords. Keywords are the words that eBay search and Google search uses from your listing, from your title, your item specifics, and your description. And it's literally the food that Google and eBay feeds on. So just what Liz is recommending is you're going to pull those listings down and then really give a hard look at the language, the keywords, which is the SEO, the Google food, the eBay search food, in your listings. Because the reason perhaps they're not getting sold is you don't have enough information there for search to really find your item. And again, it can happen if it's a listing from 2 years ago. Search has changed a lot in 2 years. So
yes.
choices, it's not that you're bad or anything, it's just choices you made from 2 years ago aren't going to help you get found in search right now.
Absolutely. And Kathy, you've talked about it. Certain categories on eBay item specifics have changed. So this is a great time to kind of spring clean all of your item specifics. Exactly. And maybe if you've been thinking about changing the way you word your listings, or if you want to start doing bullet points or whatnot, this is a great time to start on those old new listings. So you've taken down the old ones, you're doing them like they're brand new. That can help you in a lot of ways.
It's a great tip. It's like spring clean your listing.
Yes.
And while you're doing that and checking all the keywords, is always do advanced search. If you have an eBay store, basic or higher, jump in there and search, check prices. Now, obviously, for some, prices are going to be a little lower right now because some things are not as much in demand. Again, the leggings that I sold today, it came through on a best offer. And I actually took a price lower than I would normally take. But one, I had gotten them for really cheap, so I could afford to. And two, I'm like, you know what? I need to get some clothing sold, um, because it will help you with the algorithms on eBay. And it's like, okay, so I'm making a little less money, but I still more than doubled my money.
Yes.
So take a look at that because I know sometimes we're like, oh, I definitely want to get $60 for this or $80 for this or $90 for this. But if your sales are slow, and you've got best offer, let's say it is an $80 item. And let's say, I know this can be painful. They send you an offer for 40. You're like, but if you got it for $5 or $2, yes, absolutely. It's nice to get 80. Yes, when you listed it, research sold that at times it sells for 80. But you know what? If your sales are a little slow, and Liz is like me because I get a little feisty sometimes,
Yes.
particularly for people that really need the money. This is where I get angry with people, and they'll say, "Oh, you got to hang in there, and you got to wait till you get the $80." Listen, if your sales are down and you really need $50, you really need $60, you really need $20. That item only costs you a couple of bucks, and they're offering you $40 or $35 or whatever. Take it. This is me.
Yes.
Take
Yes. I'm
it, right?
I'm cheering you. I'm in the exact same boat. The offers that I would accept 3 weeks ago are not the offers I'm accepting today
I'm with you, girl. Again,
because we're just in a different time.
if I have a ton of experience in that thing, if I'm selling like gangbusters, you know what I
Yes.
mean? Like stuff is just flying off the shelves. I'm doing really well, so I can afford to hang in there. The other thing I think about, Liz, is money's tight right now, tighter than normal for a lot of people. You know what? Sometimes that may be all they have. You know, what they
Absolutely.
have is 28 bucks. They don't have $40. Is
Absolutely.
I'm more than doubling my money. They're getting blessed. They're getting the item at a good price, one that I would not have sold it at 2 weeks ago.
Absolutely.
We'll get the sale, but particularly for my sellers, because I mean, you'll go in groups, of course, not Liz's groups or my groups, but you'll go in groups.
Right.
Oh no, you can't stop. They're insulting you by offering you that. Wait a minute. You paid $2 and they're offering you $40 and you find that insulting. I'm like, this is somebody who needs the money. They need the
Yes.
money for food on their table. We'll talk about prices. I mean, forget sellers gouging. I was in the stores for paper towel and fell over at the prices they're getting away with
Oh,
charging right now. I'm not kidding you. 8-pack of Bounty in New York City, just so you guys don't fall over because you're probably used to suburban prices. It's usually like around $9, $10, $11. They wanted $30 for eight.
no.
I was like, you gotta be, and people were buying it. So
Oh,
that's what I'm just saying is, you know what? I don't know somebody's circumstance. If I can make a fair price, they're offering me, and maybe it is a little low. Maybe you're only making a couple of bucks, but you know what? If you're really tight on money and you need that $30 or $40, I'm telling you, take the offer
and I'm
because you
behind Kathy echoing it. Take the offer. Absolutely.
because bottom line is this is your business. So when somebody's trying to talk you out of money, and again, I'm not saying lose money, never, 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 never. But if it's a fair markup, if it's a slight markup, and sometimes even if you're making a few bucks, if money is really tight for you and you need that $20 or $30, take it. And you
Yes.
can come and brag in Liz's group and we'll all be going, yay for you. But it really makes me very angry because I remember when I was an actress back in my 20s. And I remember when $5 mattered because I was doing all these crazy shows that paid like no money. So when people judge people over $5 or $10 saying, oh, you know, that $5 doesn't matter. Oh, yes, it does. There's families where $5 right now really matters and $10
Absolutely.
really matters. So, and again, and they may be shopping on eBay
Yes.
because the money they have right now is very tight and they want a cute, like Easter's coming up. They want a cute Easter outfit for their daughter or their son or a treat. I had somebody the other day and they messaged me, they were buying something for a birthday gift
Oh,
because they can't get out to shop for their family member's birthday. Right? Your son's he's going to be graduating. Let's say you guys are still on lockdown and it's like, hey, Liz needs to buy a
I
graduation gift for her
I
son.
need party supplies because we're gonna have a party with our dogs. I don't know.
Oh, my dog party supplies. So in
Yeah,
closing, you're so great. Well, we'll have to do this again. This is a lot of fun. So in
absolutely.
closing, let me just scan over here. Hang on, everybody's doing good. Sharon was saying she's taken some lower offers too. Beverly says, thank you for your service, Liz. I commend you. Yes, and thank you for serving our country, Liz.
Thank you
Um,
for your support.
you're welcome. Is in closing, so for whether sellers are doing great or not doing great, what would you encourage people to focus on right now in dealing with the coronavirus pandemic? What can we focus on that can really help us to stay positive, but in a truthful way? Because, you know, sometimes
Yes.
people are just like, they're sort of little Mary Sunshine. And I'm like, well, wait a minute. This is a serious thing. We do need to self isolate. This is a serious situation that we're in, but this is not a time to get depressed, you know, I'm like with you, do not watch the news 24/7.
Yeah.
Um, but what would you say to really encourage people in a factual, truthful way right now in selling online and dealing with the corona pandemic?
Well, I can tell you for myself, I am of the sound mind of I know that I can only control what I can control. So in the mornings, what can I control? Today, I can control ending 10 listings and starting them up. I can control what I put on my checklist of things that I need to do today. What am I going to put on it? Yeah, absolutely. I need to take 20 pictures. I need to clean the bathtub. I need to give the dog a bath. I need whatever it is. It doesn't even have to be eBay related. Um, but sometimes, and I know that we're probably speaking to maybe some people that this is their part-time job and now they're home and they're not used to being home all the time. Or even for us that are home all the time, we're like, oh, we have a new norm now. My kids are home, or my husband's home, or wife is home. Um, my sanity is controlling what I can control And I told you, Kathy, my thing is I'm with you. I control the button on my remote control, and I choose to keep it off, except for essentials. Um, I have been, if you're stuck, you can control which YouTubers you're watching, which Facebook you're on. Do I want to be positive? What do I want to learn positive about my business today? But my main thing is control what you can control. Do your checklist. You can control your checklist. You can control what you're doing in your business. That's what keeps me focused. That's what keeps me, I want to say sane, but some of my friends are watching and they know I can get a little crazy sometimes.
Which is also a good thing.
Yeah, but
That's
really, we can only
it's not
control.
fun being home. And again, I'm not saying this with a little
Absolutely.
seriousness. And I know there's people with compromised immune systems. I have them in my
Yes.
family. I have friends with some very serious health things. I see my Facebook friends that are dealing with chemo. So I'm extremely aware of how life endangering all of this is right now. But I know too, for those of us that are in lockdown or severely restricted, is how can I have the best time I was actually thinking that because I actually woke up in a really good mood today. The past couple of days, I've been like a little like, ugh, um, because it is you go outside in New York, and there's things about New York that are a challenge, but I'm used to that hustle bustle. I'm used to hearing many languages around me, French and Spanish and English. I'm used to lots of traffic. And I go
Yes.
out and it's not there. I realize too, part of it is I'm processing memories from 9/11 because a lot of this is reminding me of 9/11. And I was here in the city then. But how can I make the best out of this situation? A part of this is live streaming with Liz, and I'm going to have other
Yeah.
putting music on, not watching the news 24/7. If you are having a tough time with your sales, like what Liz said, what can I control? I cannot control shoppers. Otherwise, we'd be like, hey,
Right.
right?
Exactly.
But stale listings. Look at my keywords. Look at my pictures. Check solds. The prices can change dramatically. I can control that. Write yourself a list, but do not beat yourself up with your list. So,
Yes.
and the one thing I want to say, and then we're going to scoot, is prioritize. So one or two things, and I always try after I do my prayer and meditation in the morning, is to knock out one or two things off my list immediately. So that way it's a win. It's like,
Yes.
yay, I did something.
Yes.
Something off. I listed one thing, or I took pictures of three things. Do something at the top of your list that you can just get done, so that even if the rest of the list gets postponed till later, because we have children underfoot, we have spouses that are home that we're not used to seeing quite so much, is that at least you get a few of the things off the list. Like what Liz said, be careful who you're around. Not that we don't love everybody, but if
Yeah.
some groups are really nasty, mean, and vile, perhaps keep away from them for now and stay to the more upbeat groups. Same thing with the YouTubers. Also, what you're watching, any film or TV that you're watching. Again, it may not be my husband loves to watch Forensic Files. I can watch a little bit of that, but after a while, I go off and I watch Hallmark movies, and it's like
Yes.
I like to, I go and watch the light, fluffy stuff, because I know for me what I need to feed my mind with. But what Liz said is, all I can control is me. All I can control is my mind. I cannot control anything else. And to put the focus there, surround myself with the most positive people. And this too will pass. It
Yes.
will. We've all gone through. I mean, if you're over 30, Liz and I were talking too, we'll do another video on that, is, if you're younger and this may be the first really challenging time that you're going through, not that we're seniors, but we're older than 30.
Experienced.
Yes, I'm glad that we're here for you. But there's others of us, and we've been through hurricanes, and we've been through storms, and we might have gone through health challenges for ourselves and for our family. I was in the city in 9/11. It was really bad, and it was really bad for a while, but you come through it and you learn what you can do and what you can't do. And one thing I must say is that eBay has been tremendous. They are helping to guard us with our top rated seller status. They're really keeping an eye out and a pulse on the community, as much as in their power, because obviously they would love to send us, 1,000 sales every day, because when we sell,
Right.
they make money. eBay doesn't make money if we don't make money. They've been very supportive, very encouraging. they're having to all relocate at home. You know, delays with customer service. A lot of customer service is through email right now. So really, I want to applaud eBay has been doing
Yeah.
a tremendous job staying very positive as our partner, while they're literally transitioning a global, it's not just the US, you have to realize with this pandemic, it is global. They're having to transition a global team to working at home for the most part. So thank you, eBay. Thank you, Liz. We have to do this again. You're
Yeah,
fabulous.
anytime.
Pleasure. Thank you, everybody. Thank you for joining us. I'm Kathy, and here's Liz, and we both
Thanks,
love
Kathy.
selling.
Bye.
Bye-bye.